Hi everyone, welcome to Border Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie, you're not, and this is just a quick video with a little bit of an update in case you've been living under a rock for the last 2 weeks. It was finally announced that on the 1st of November Australia is going to get its very own server, and that's going to cover Australia and New Zealand players, as maybe if you look at the map up there a little bit, maybe a few players from Papua New Guinea might get on board as well, but I'm not really sure how many players from up there play the game. What's this going to mean for you? What do you need to do? How's it going to affect clan wars and all that kind of jazz? That's what I'm going to try to address in this video. Firstly, the clan war. Well, firstly, what do you need to do if you're already playing on the Asia server, which you can see the Asia server up there. That's where the Asia server is at the moment, up in Singapore. If you're currently playing anywhere on the Asia server, whether it's Australia, New Zealand, or anywhere else in the world, then you don't need to do anything. It's going to be fully automatic. I'm tipping there's going to be some kind of patch, and you will be given the option between 7 o'clock and midnight at Melbourne and New South Wales and Tasmania time, Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time, a little bit earlier for Brisbane, Adelaide, Queensland, South Australia, and of course Western Australia, and probably a little bit later for our friends in New Zealand. You'll be given two options when you log in, similar to if anybody's ever played on the North American server when they used to have 2 servers. EU, I believe, still has 2 servers, so does Russia. You'll be given the option to log into either the Australian server or the Asia server, which is Asia server in Singapore, which is what everybody's currently playing on, and of course that Sydney peripheral server will be running from 6 PM till midnight Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So if you're already playing on the Asia server, you don't need to do anything at all. You'll just be given that option during those hours to log in and hopefully experience better ping, and hopefully the matchmaker isn't discouraged too much with the lower numbers, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. However, if you're playing on North America and you want to come over, of course, North America, the East and West North American servers were both merged to a central server in Chicago, and of course that people playing closer to Australia than Chicago would probably benefit to jump over to the Australian server or the Asian server in Singapore, and they've been given an option to transfer over. There'll be a link for how to do that if you're playing on the North American server. Unfortunately, I play on the Asian server, so I don't have that much information for our friends on the North American server, but if you're on the Asian server, you don't need to do anything at all. You'll simply be given an option when you log in, and if it's on during peak times, which is 6 PM to midnight Eastern Daylight Saving Time, to join the Australian server in Sydney. And I know people, and I think anybody who's ever played in an Australian clan, whether it's clan wars or skirmishes or platoons, we all know somebody who, you just start off into a clan wars battle, and and of course they lag out, and hopefully that will address that situation for people who might be living in remote areas, or they might just have a bad connection or a bad computer and they can't really connect too reliably to Singapore. So hopefully that will help them. Speaking of clan wars will also change. What they're going to do, the early time zones, which is set 7 to 10 PM for starters, 7 to 10 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Clan wars will be run on the Sydney server. So if you're in an Australian or New Zealand clan, you've probably all experienced some kind of bad connection at times connecting to Singapore for clan wars and skirmishes and all that kind of stuff. But so for the first 4 rounds of clan wars, that's going to be run out of Sydney, and then the later 4 rounds will be run out of Singapore. That's probably a fair way to do it. Again, not sure about numbers. There are going to be probably people in the Philippines who play clan wars a lot, probably won't be affected too much. They could probably connect to Sydney quite well, or even people who are up in Singapore, but of course they're going to prefer to connect to Singapore because it's closer to them. One of the biggest factors for lag and in-game performance issues is of course the distance, as well as your connection and your computer. Strongholds will be also run similarly. There'll be a patch of time for the Australian and New Zealand players to play strongholds and skirmishes, and Asia as well. And then Asia will generally be a little bit later. Now, a lot of people have been saying, hang on, I live in Perth, I'm on the same time zone as Singapore, how's that going to affect me? Well, as usual, if you're in Perth, same as anybody like me, I'm in Melbourne, anybody will be able to connect to either server whenever they want. So nobody's going to be disadvantaged by this as far as connection issues goes. Another thing that keeps coming up is numbers. What about player numbers? Of course, Australia's got about 23 or 24 million people. New Zealand have got less. And you look at the big countries right up there on the map, your Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, they've got in the hundreds of millions of players. So that's certainly going to be a factor, which Wargaming say they've studied all those facts and figures, and They reckon Australian Aussies and Kiwis, so long as they log on to the Australian server, won't have a problem with matchmaking. As an example, I've been playing. My 10-year-old son has recently got into World of Tanks Blitz, and I've been having a few games early in the morning on World of Tanks Blitz, and they're same as World of Tanks, the normal World of Tanks. There's still 10 tiers. And World of Tanks Blitz tells you how many people are in the queue for the game. And sometimes it's in the 50s to 80s, and it's still only a wait of about 10 or 20 seconds for a game. Although it is 7 versus 7 rather than 15 versus 15 on World of Tanks Blitz. But the matchmaker is only +1 as opposed to +2 on World of Tanks, so you can only see 1 tier difference. What about another thing that comes up? What happens if you've got friends on other servers? Well, if you've got friends on the Asian server who are going to continue to play in Asia because they live in Singapore or closer to Singapore than Sydney, you can still log on and platoon with them and do your clan stuff and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to take a quick break in this little information session. We're going to go to a little bit of funny gameplay action from my old mate Frosty, who's in his 132, and this is where he actually breaks World of Tanks as he's coming round in this game. And I think that's a little bit slow. He's on for yours. He's coming round to clean up the end of the battle. And have a look at this. He's coming around, he's looking around, he flips his tank, which is not unusual. We've all done it. Now Frosty's one of these guys who I know who sometimes struggles with his connection, and maybe that's what happened with him. So maybe he'll be able to benefit from an Australian server. Maybe he's one of these players who are looking forward to it as much as a lot of other people. Some people are getting very excited about this new server. Some people are being very skeptical. Look, I was a skeptic at first. I was very much in the no camp simply because of player numbers. You know, you got hundreds of millions of people living in Southeast Asia, and only 30 or 40 million people living in Australia and New Zealand. How's that going to be worthwhile? But Wargaming assure us that they have looked at the numbers. Let's have a look at Frosty going over the top. He nearly rolls his tank again. He puts a shot into the AM4A1 Revelries. He falls into the drink. Look at his gun. What the hell has happened to that gun? And now he can't even aim it. That's just gone. His gun has disappeared. Have a look at that. There's World of Tanks. A little bit of comedy there for you. As we move back to this main picture and look at the Australian server again. As I was saying earlier, the connection will most certainly be a hell of a lot better for a lot of players. People who really struggle with their connection will certainly get a better connection, a better ping, less lag, less dropouts, all that kind of stuff. And of course, I'll just show you the website, and there'll be a link to this website. This is the announcement. It's coming on the 1st of November, 6 till 12 of an evening, Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Times. Of course, clan wars, skirmishes, platoons, and all that. You'll have to be on the same server to play with other players. That's for sure, and that's the only concern a lot of people might have. Maybe they've got friends in the Philippines or in Korea. Korea got on board not too long ago. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Hopefully it works. I think Wargaming have done their homework here, and I think it's now or never as far as an Australian server goes. If they want to expand the game in Australia, that's clearly what they want to do. That's something that they are clearly looking at. I reckon I've covered it. Any questions, feel free to ask. I will be streaming a little bit later, a little bit more often in the next coming months. It's the start of 2017. I made a personal goal to do a video every day for the year of 2017, and I'm well on track to do that. And I'll be doing a few changes here, including streaming and maybe a few more videos like this. But anyway, there you go. There'll be a link down the bottom for the announcement. There's a thread on the forums which you can see now. The Australian New Zealand server frequently asked questions on the server. Now let's have a look at a little bit more gameplay. This is from my old mate. He sent me this replay, Mirage Flare. Now I know the name. Aquas Clan. Mirage Flare is in the PZ58 Mutts, the Tier 8 Premium. German. Sorry. Trying to thought. Premium German Tier 8 Medium Tank. And this is just... This replay goes to show how strong the gun is. Unfortunately, there's not going to be any post-game battle results. There's a bit of an issue with the upload. I'm not exactly sure why. Of course, he's on Westfield. It's a Tier 9 game. He's in a Tier 8 medium tank. PZ58 Mutts. 90mm gun, 240 average damage, 242 penetration, 259 with APCR, which is premium. Kicking back here, he's in a platoon with his old mate Jack the Dog 21, also from Aqua's clan. He's in the FV4202. They're clearly grinding a few credits or training up some crews in their premium medium tanks. But unfortunately, Jack the Dog has lagged out. I think he's into the game now. You'll see on the minimap he'll start to move very, very shortly. He's looking at his mate there going, hey man, are you playing? Yep, looks like he's just started to move now. And then they can get serious with the score on 2-zip. He's already picked up 591 damage. Without giving too much away, that is going to go up tremendously. Two zips to score. As I fast forward the replay just a little bit, Mirage Flare from Aqua's clan in the PZ58 Mutts Premium Tier 8 German medium tank is coming up to the southeast corner, where medium tanks often do their business. A lot of medium tanks on both sides. He's clearly looking at the Type 59 Parabol. Now I do know that name from somewhere as well. GVND. It was in a clan that used to play against them often on the map some time ago. If I'm thinking of the right clan, or maybe I'm not. Puts another shot into the premium Chinese Tier 8 medium tank, who's got himself into a pretty bad position there. He might have a mark of excellence on that gun barrel, but he's not going to do too well sitting there, not with all these tanks shooting at him. Mirage Flare just misses out on the kill, but he's taken his damage count up to nearly 1,300 hit points and is just warming up. Look at all those tanks though. Pulls back, fires clutch towards the Scorpion G. It misses, cops 450 damage from the German premium tank destroyer. Thinks he can beat the reload, bounces the J Panther, misses another shot, but never mind, he's going to start landing shots pretty soon and getting this medium 90mm gun to work for him to grind those credits out. Sticking with standard rounds for the time being with the score on 3-zip. Fires, but doesn't look like he lands that one. There is a number of tanks there, so he's being quite smart. Doesn't want to push too far. Puts a shot into the Scorpion G. Takes it down to 362 hit points with a little bit of help from his friends. Now look at that T49. You need to respect that derp gun. If that lands, you're certainly going to feel it. Bounces the J Panther yet again. 3 zips a score. Mirage Flare from Aqua's clan, putting a few shots towards those enemy tanks. And Tiger P goes down, but who really cares about a Tiger P when you're in a Tier 9 game? Can't hit the J Panther to save himself, but he's up to nearly 1,800 hit points, so I'll just go a little bit quicker. He's decided to go for a little bit of a different angle on these enemy tanks as he comes back around this ridge line. Looking down, probably looking towards that AMX 1375, who's probably on the reload, and that's probably why he's running away. Mirage Flare on 1 kill, nearly 1,800 damage, looks down towards the 1375, sees a little gap, takes the shot, but doesn't quite land it again. 4-2 the score, so the enemy team clearly slowly coming back, and Mirage Flare looking for that Scorpion G, gets him for 223. Bit of a low roll, I think it's 240 is normal, that's not too bad. Comfortably winning 6-2, and now it's time to make this gun sing and have a look at this. Puts a shot into the Jag Panther, finally gets him, puts another shot into the Chieftain T95. The Chieftain T95 is a Tier 8 premium British medium tank. That was a Clan Wars campaign reward tank. That shot went into the Batchat 12T. Not only did he damage him, but he tracked him. There's a Battle Buddy reset for you. But he takes out the Chieftain T95. The J Panther goes down to the Batchat 12T. That's the guy that he tracked. Didn't see him apologise, but now that T49 will be looking out. He hits his platoon mate, Jack the Dog. I hope he doesn't turn blue in this replay. He's up to 2 kills, 2,734 damage. The SU-152 and the E-75 go down, and Mirage Flare puts a shot into the T-49 before the T-54 lightweight picks up the kill with the score on 9-5 on Westfield. He's up to nearly 3,000 damage. He's blocked 720 and he's got 1,165 assisted damage. Fires without aiming and hits the T-25-2, the Tier 7 American tank destroyer. And I'll tell you what, that T-25-2 will be feeling a little bit nervous now. Artillery gets lit and he looks towards him and thinks, no, somebody else will probably shoot that artillery because he's tucked in behind that building. No, there he is now, waits till he aims, fires, doesn't quite wait long enough until he aims, shoots and misses. He's got to make sure he gets rid of this artillery piece. There you go. Thank you very much. 10-7 to score now. Up to 3,308 damage. 720 block. 1,403 assisted damage. Picks up the kill on the T-25-2 as well. That's 4 kills for Mirage Flare from Aqua's clan. Jack the Dog coming along, supporting quite nicely in the FV4202, but their friendly tanks continue to die. The Skoda on the enemy side just picked up the kill on artillery. Still 4 enemy tanks left, the WZ111-4, the Skoda T50, the Tiger 1, and of course that 1375 auto-loading Tier 7 French light tank. There's the Tiger 1. This is going to be easy damage all the way. If it hits, looks like he didn't hit. Jack the Dog looks like he's in a little bit of trouble as Mirage Flare puts a shell into the AMX 1375, and everyone clearly focusing on that light tank who's right up against that red line, looking for some last minute damage, I think, before his team loses the game. 4 kills, 3,935 damage. There's the Skoda. Wants to get rid of that auto loading. Check. Medium tank. 12-9. Shoots and misses, not the most accurate shooter in the world, but he's already up to 4,154 damage, and without giving too much away, he's going to continue to carry this battle all the way to the end. 4 kills. Probably needs to move forward now. I think all the enemy tanks are on the other side of that ridgeline, and that looks like that's what Mirage is going to do with the score on 12-10. They haven't quite won this yet. Let's go to T50. Backham, he's having an absolute ripper. On 6 kills on the enemy side. Mirage Flare on 4 kills, 4,373 damage, plus a couple of Battle Buddy resets. Somebody is pinging the artillery who's been killed is pinging the enemy cap circle. He wants him to cap this one out. I'm not sure why. As Mirage Flare picks up another shot into the Tiger 1. Still 491 hit points up for grabs on the Tier 7 German heavy tank. So he takes it down by another 249. 4,851 damage, and there's his 5th kill. Gets rid of the Tiger 1. Still 2 enemy tanks left. That T54 clearly only interested in capping this one out, even though he's on 1366 hit points by the looks of it. Mirage Flare down to 121, but he's picked up over 5,000 damage. Jack the Dog finally gets taken out, and so does Mirage Flare. That AMX 1375 certainly doing the right thing and picking that target. The Skoda T50 now on 7 kills. The T54 probably should have tried to join the fight there. The T54 lightweight keeping that 1375 busy, and you can see Mirage Flare on 5 kills. Unlucky not to get a top gun. The last 2 tanks on very low health, 234, and of course that 1375 is now gone. And what will happen with this T54 lightweight? He's lost his AMRAC. It's been taken out by the Skoda, and now it's just the T54 sitting on cap with 45 seconds left on the cap timer. The Stridsvagen S1, the premium Swedish tank destroyer, is looking for the kill shot. Will he be able to get it? Yes, he will. Not a comfortable win, a good win in the end, 15-3. Unfortunately, we can't see the post-game battle results because there was an issue with the replay. But anyway, here we are back on the Australia-New Zealand server, frequently asked question thread. There's a lot of information on this website about what kind of server it is, when does it go live, all the timings, what you need to do as an Aussie or a Kiwi. And of course, if you want to play outside primetime hours, you can still play on the Asian server based in Singapore. So hopefully this video has given you a little bit of an insight into the new Australian server, Sydney over there on the map, or Singapore up there. Of course, if you're in Australia or New Zealand, Sydney will be a better one. And of course, if you're in Perth, please be patient. They will be Wargaming will be monitoring activity, and of course the next step is to increase the hours. So at the moment it's 6 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think the next step might be to make it all weekend or almost all weekend, and maybe add 1 or 2 hours at each end of those time zones. Hopefully this video gives you a little bit of an insight into what to expect come November. It's just over a week away, and of course I'll be on this Thursday. I'll be at the GGEZ bar in sunny Melbourne from about 6:30. That's in Queen Street, I think. There's a wargaming event there. Search the forums for that. There's, I think there are still tickets available. There wasn't many though when I looked yesterday. But if you're going, feel free to say hello. The good lady will be coming along, and so will 1 or 2 of my clanmates from 1AR. So thank you very much for the replay. If there's any questions, feel free to ask, or if you see me live streaming, feel free to ask there. I have done a fair amount of research on this topic. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in Melbourne. Anyone who's in Melbourne, please say hello. I always like meeting new people. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. See you all next time.